There we go. All right, so we have product ABC. The recording is on. Jan, Feb, March. Let's say we have sales for it. All right, so this is what we have. So now if I want to build a chart using this, I can simply create one. Okay, let's say I go with a column chart and you will be having 3 columns per month. If you want to switch January and product, okay, so if you want to see right now, we are having columns for our different products, product A, product B, product C for Jan, product A, B, C for Feb, and so on. Now, if you want to switch this, so for example, if you want to have columns of Jan, Feb, and March, and you want to have the labels as products, you can select the chart, go to chart design, and you have switch row slash column. Click on switch row slash column, and now you will be having products at the bottom and columns made up of different months. All right. This is what you can do to switch X axis and your legend. If you want to switch your Y axis and your X axis, that is going to completely change the chart. You cannot have numbers at the bottom, right? If you have numbers at the bottom, you no longer have a column chart. It turns into a bar chart, right? Because bar charts, you have Y axis here and X axis containing numbers. In that case, you need to change the chart type. Change the chart type, go to your bar and change it to a bar. And now you have your numbers here and the labels here. So in case you want to do something like that, you can do this. Or if you want to switch between legend and x-axis, you can do that as well. Okay? Any formula for some month till date? No direct formula. You need to combine multiple formulas. Okay. Also, I can't. If you paste your data in the Zoom chat, it becomes very messy. I can't see it properly. So I'm not able to understand what's going on there. How to copy a worksheet after filtering to other worksheet with the selected one. It's as simple as copying it. Like for my Excel, so it is as simple as, let's say I have this here. Okay, let's say I want to enable filters and I want to filter the data. Or let's go with product. Okay, let's product. I don't want to have the product B. Okay, this is what I have. Simply select it. Okay, Control C, go here, Control V, and now you will be having product A and C also, because we have filtered it. Let's just clear our filter. And now you'll be seeing C as well. So now B is no longer there. It's as simple as Control C, Control V. I think a few versions of Excel won't be having a simple Control C, Control V working. In that case, what you can do is, let me just remove this B, select the entire thing. Okay, under Home, you have Find and Select. Under Find and Select, you have Go to Special. Within go to special, you will be having visible cells only. Okay, so select the option of visible cells only and then click on OK. It will simply have the cells which are visible, which are not filtered, selected. Then you can press Control C, then you can go your Control V, and you will no longer have B. So whatever works for you, if the first method works, use that. If it doesn't work, use the second one. Okay, chalo, any other questions? Okay, guys, any other questions? Let me know in the Zoom chat. If we do not have any questions, I'll be ending the session early. So in case you have any questions, please make sure to post it. Is preparing Excel dashboard part of this course? Not directly, but I will be covering multiple aspects such as how to use pivot tables, how to use slicers, timelines, how to create a mini dashboard using that. Along with that, how to create dynamic charts. So all these things are basically the elements that it takes to cover, I would say, or build an Excel dashboard. You can simply compile it all and build an Excel dashboard. My personal advice, don't do that. Go for Power BI. It's a part of your program. Okay, that's what Microsoft has for dashboards. Okay, also I'm going to remove the person who annotated. Just a sec. Chalo, there we go, guys. Don't annotate on the screen. All right. Will you be covering EMI sheet with changing rate of interest? How EMI sheet? I'm assuming you are trying to build a loan amortization table. In that case, we will be having an EMI, or I would say a loan amortization table built. And when it comes to changing rate of interest, it's a normal thing. So, for example, if you have a single cell containing rate of interest, all right, in that case, you will simply change the rate of interest there, and your entire loan amortization table will also change dynamically. Once you go through Modern Excel 2019, I will show you all a way in which you can combine it using a formula called sequence. Okay. Case studies are not loaded yet. Yes, I know about that issue. Something wrong with the website. Please wait for it. Converting text to value. Which command can we use if you want to convert text to value? For example, let me just give you an example on my screen. Okay, so for example, let's say I have this particular cell, and this cell is, let's say, 10-year. Okay, and let's say I convert it into a text. Okay, so I go to my formatting. For example, let's say I do something like this. Okay, and I go to more number formats and select the option of text. Okay, I want to convert this into a text. So once you convert this into a text, notice how if I write 10 here, my 10 is towards the right hand side. Whatever you have towards the right hand side is basically a number. Numbers are always to your right hand side, as you can see, right hand side of the cell. However, if it is a text like this or this or this, it is always to the left hand side. So notice how, because both, even though both of them have numbers, that is 10, one is left, one is right. Why is this left? Because we have converted this into a text format. Now, how do I perform calculations on something like this? If I simply do is equal to this plus 3, I get 13. That's not a problem. However, if I want to convert this into an actual number, there are two ways in which you can do it. First, change the formatting of it. Second, in case you want to refer to it in some other cell, you can simply do is equal to value. Okay, value is basically a formula which converts a text that represents a number. Here you have a number in the form of a text to a number. Okay, so I'll simply use is equal to value. Select this, bracket closed, enter. Wait for it. Okay, I think my Excel froze. Let me just do it again. Sometimes that happens in Office 365. I have no idea why. Let me, there we go. So now you see, we have used the formula is equal to value, simply pointed towards this cell, and now you have 10 here. Okay, ignore this cell. I think it has frozen for some reason. Okay, chalo, so this is how you can convert it. Okay, please help me understand match function. Krish, what do you not understand in that? Is there a function to convert 1234 to 1234? Not really. There is no direct function for that. But there is a long combination of formulas which I personally don't even remember. I'll try to send it to you in the next Q&A. You can simply copy and paste that formula, and it will convert 1234 to whatever you want. That is 1234. Okay, right now I don't have it in front of my screen or stored somewhere. Let me just find it for you. Okay. Anything else? My question left. Ravindra, I don't see your question. Which question? 100% stacked. Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry, I think I missed out on that. 100% stacked chart is adding value cumulative. I want correct percentage against total amount. I didn't quite get your question. Let me just read it again. 100% stacked chart is adding value cumulative. Not really. It is just showing me the percentage contribution of something. I want correct percentage against total amount. From what I understand, your question is what you need to do is, let me just have this. So, for example, if you have something like this, okay, this is what my assumption is of your questions. I'm trying to solve it according to that. Let's say you have a column chart according to these three products for the sales. You want to see the percentages here, right? So, right click, or you can simply go to chart design, add chart element. Add chart element, you have data labels. Okay, make it, let's say, center. Let's change the color to white. And then here, if you want percentage, right click, format, but not really. You won't get percentage directly here. You will have to use an extra helper column. So what you can do is, instead of going, yeah, you won't have percentages because it's not having that ability to do that. So what you can do it is just have a helper column here. Okay, helper column may just select this, divide by sum of what? The entire thing. Okay, fix it, bracket closed, and send it down. For a column chart, you won't be having it directly. Convert this into a percentage. And now what you can do is go to your data label, right click on your data label, format the data labels. Okay. And once you format the data label, you have the option called value from cells. Put a tick mark there. It will ask you kahan se lena hai value. Simply select these three cells and click on OK. Okay, and now we will be having 31%, 22, 42%, 30, and whatever the case is. If you don't want 30 or 22, 30, and 20, simply remove it by unchecking this box called value. Okay, I hope this is what you want. All right, can you please explain Sunburst chart? Sure. Series for search for series for 1 to 1000. Vivo, I didn't get your question. I want percentage of ABC against total 82 in stack chart. Okay, one sec. Let's convert this. Let me just try to understand your question. There we go. Chart design. Let's convert this into a stack column. Column stack. Okay. And let's have February here. And let's make it a number. And let's say I have 40 here, 10 here, 20 here. Expand this. And now we have two columns. Okay. Let me just delete this. And your question is saying I want percentage of ABC against total 82 in stack chart. All right, so here we have stack. You can go to chart design. Within chart design, add chart element, data labels, and center. Okay, once you have this, right click, format data labels. Do we have percentages here? Not really. So what you need to do is again have a separate helper column, which will calculate the percentages of both of them separately. So in order to do that, you will have to, I would say, long process. Yeah, you will have to do a percentage of total for both of them separately and then try to bring that value inside your this thing. So again, you will have to put in two helper columns, one helper here, one helper here, convert A to percent of total, this to percent of total according to these two values for product A, and then get your answer. So you need to have helper columns, but again, that won't be a sure shot answer because dono alag alag column hai. So you will have to bring it to the same column and then do it. Long way to do it. If you want to do it, you can go ahead and try this, but personal suggestion, doesn't make sense to do it na mehnat. Same way as how we have helper column pehle. Vivo search for values for search for series for 1 to 1000. Didn't really get your question. Mentioned it again. What's your question? Please let me know. Sunburst chart. I'm coming to Sunburst chart. I'm just waiting for questions. I'll be explaining that in a few minutes. Let me just answer all the questions first. I'm assuming that there are no questions as I haven't received any. So I'm going to explain Sunburst and tree map right now. Okay, chalo. And I think that would be the last thing for the current session as I don't see any questions. Okay, chalo. Let me just open up that file. Give me a second. I'll load up my screen. That was an answer for number to get 1 to 1000. I don't know who asked that question, but thank you for helping. Is there any shortcut key to hide and unhide column? Yes, control 0, control shift 0. Let me just show it to you on the screen. All right. Here you have a single column. Want to hide it? Control Shift. Sorry, Control 0. Okay, there we go. What else? Can you explain scatter and bubble chart, please? No, not right now. Let's first focus on the traditional charts and then we'll move on to that. Okay, let's have a look at the tree map here. Let me just open up the notes as well. Uh, there we go. All right. Chalo, coming to tree map and sunburst charts, not the most traditional charts, however helpful in case you require it. First, let's look at the tree map. Okay, so what are both of them actually used for? Both of them are used to visualize hierarchies. So if you want to visualize some kind of hierarchy in your organization or in your data set with groups and subgroups, both of them are the best option to have. Coming to the tree map at first, tree map, think of it as an upgrade over a pie chart. It works in a similar manner to a pie chart and the functionality remains the same as well. Pie chart is what? Pie chart is nothing but your chart which helps you show the percent of total, right? That's the purpose of a pie chart. When it comes to a tree map, it does the exact same thing. It shows you the percentage of total. It tells you in proportion to the total what is this particular part having. All right. Now, what is the advantage of a tree map over a pie chart? When it comes to a tree map, visualizing multiple levels of data is allowed. Okay, so when it comes to a pie chart, you can only have a single pie. You can't have like pie and then uske upar ek pie, uske upar ek pie and stuff like that. You can't do something like that. So if you have two levels of data, what do you do? To give you an example, here we have the tree map and sunburst chart file, and here we have the first data set. We have the genre of movie, the title of different movies, and the ticket sales per movie per genre. If I want to visualize this data, can I simply select this, go to insert, and insert a pie chart? Notice what's happening here. Are we getting a pie on top of that another pie for a second level of data? Not really. I'm having the combination of both of them. So I'm having comedy GI Joes, comedy trapeze cat, comedy adventure squirrels, and so on. I'm not having two levels of data. I'm having one single level combined into a, let's say, one level combining both the different columns, right? I don't want something like that. And because I don't want something like that and I want two separate levels of data, I will select my data, go to insert and insert a tree map. The option here is in the first row, second icon. Click on the insert hierarchy chart and the first option that you have is a tree map. In case you don't see the option of a tree map, that's because it was introduced in Excel 16. Okay, so if you don't have Excel 16, you won't be having this option. Here we go. Now we have a tree map. Notice how the tree map, instead of having pies or circle or slices, you have rectangles, blocks of data. Okay, but the functionality remains the same as mentioned earlier. Now here, what do we have? We have two levels of data. How do we understand these two levels of data? Notice how we are first having differentiation based on color. So the first column that we are having will be based on color. You have one color for comedy, one for horror, one for comedy, one for drama, and one for science fiction. Now that you have this, you can easily understand what is the proportion of one genre in terms of ticket sales as compared to the whole. So here you have horror. You can see that's the biggest, almost 45-50% of your data. Then you have comedy, then you have drama, and then you have science fiction. Now, within that as well, notice how we are having further division. Okay, so here we are having within horror, we are having Clown Parade, Ezekiel Strikes Back, The Cave of 1000 Skulls, Lukewarm Soup, and etc. This is the second level of data. So within horror as well, I can see which movie is the best. So within horror, I can easily understand Clown Parade 3 is the one which is having the most amount of ticket sales. For comedy, it is trapeze cat. For drama, it is unexpected delivery, and so on. Right? So this is the second level of data that you can visualize inside a tree map. First is according to color, second is according to the further division within that color. Now, a few things to remember here. First, notice the color here. Okay, purple is whatever is going into your tree map in the form of labels. Okay, so you have horror, comedy, trapeze cat, Ezekiel strikes back. All these things come from this purple area. Blue area is the one which determines the size of your rectangle. Okay, so this is what is determining the size of your rectangle as compared to the whole. Now, one, I would say the most important thing that you need to keep in mind or understand while using a tree map is that the data in the first column of your tree map has to be sorted, or I would say grouped together. So here you have all the comedy together, all the drama movies together, all the horror movies together, and then science fiction after that. Right? So now you need to have all these genres together. You cannot have four comedy here and let's say one comedy in the middle. You can't have something in the middle breaking that group. What happens if we have something like that? So let's say this wasn't drama, this was comedy. Okay. And if this was comedy, our data wouldn't be grouped together because we have drama in the middle as well. So I'll simply change this to comedy right now. Notice how before I do that, I have comedy, drama, horror, science fiction. Hit enter. And now what do we have? We have comedy, we have drama, we have comedy again, drama again, horror, and then science fiction. Why is that the case? That is because notice how our data is not grouped together. So you have comedy here and also here, drama here and also here. What this means is basically when you don't have your data grouped together, a tree map in Excel fails to understand that this comedy and this comedy is the exact same. And it creates a new grouping for the data which is not grouped together. So if your comedy is not grouped with these cells, it will take it as a new group. That is basically what it does here. Okay. However, the moment you switch this comedy to drama and hit enter, you see both the additional drama and comedy are gone, right? So you need to have your data grouped together. A simple way to group your data together is to simply sort your data A to Z. That will just make it grouped together. All right. And that's how you create a tree map. The purpose of it is to visualize data having two levels of hierarchy. All right. Now, coming to the sunburst chart. Sunburst charts are, I would say, tree maps are not typically charts which are used for hierarchy. Sunburst charts are also something which you can use, but not a very typical chart. I would personally say it to be, I would say, use it when you want to visualize the data of people. Okay, what is the depth of an organization? What is the depth of a department? Or let's say, what is the depth of a team in your college festival? Whatever the case is, visualize it when you have people there. Okay, and I would say you will understand why I'm saying that in a minute. Okay. Here we have data of a few offices for our company. We have Boston office, we have New York, Chicago, we have the department within it, supervisor, manager, employee, and then something called as count. Notice how if we are having two employees, we will be having two instances of departments. If we are having two employees belonging to the IT department, we will be having two ITO. Okay. Now that you have this data, you want to visualize it. You want to see the depth of each and every office according to each and every department and so on. You select your entire data, including this extra column called count. Then go to insert. Within insert, you need to go to again the tree map icon. Within that, you have the sunburst icon. Okay, so insert a sunburst chart here. Notice how a sunburst chart looks just like a pie chart stacked on top of each other. So you have one donut. Okay, I would not even say pie chart, a donut chart. Okay, so you have one donut, another, and so on. Okay, this helps you understand the depth of each and every office. So you can see, all right, for Boston, the depth is this much. For the IT department, where you have Kelly as the supervisor, manager is Bobby, and then you have employee Nick under that manager, under that supervisor. This is how you can visualize your human data. This is how you use a Sunburst chart just to visualize hierarchies when it comes to human data. All right. Now, before I come to what is this count, let me give you an example of using a Sunburst chart on this data. If I select this data and go to insert and insert a Sunburst chart, I can have the exact same chart here. However, because we only have two levels of data, we have two donuts here. This looks exactly like a donut chart stacked on top of another donut chart, and the slices are obviously determined by what? The ticket sales. However, notice how, as compared to my tree map, if I simply just put this and this side by side, notice how it's easy to understand this as compared to this, because the labels are obviously in, I would say, 360 order. So you have to read it by tilting your head here, this, and so on. So it's very, I would say, it's not very convenient to have a donut chart stacked on top of a donut chart to visualize this data. Whenever you have numerical data having multiple levels, stick to a tree map, because a Sunburst chart might be difficult to read. It obviously serves the same purpose, but it might be difficult to read. So stick to a Sunburst chart while visualizing data like this. And when it comes to numerical data, stick to the tree map. Okay. Now, coming back to this, what exactly is this Sunburst chart and how do you use it? As I mentioned earlier, you can simply understand how big a vertical is, how many employees work in a particular vertical, in one office, etc. In order to visualize this, you need to have some kind of numerical column. And that's exactly what we have created here. So notice how if I simply selected this data, okay, by the way, this column is not a part of my original data. This is something that I have built on my own. Okay, so I'm selecting this, going to insert, inserting a Sunburst chart. What do I have here? Absolutely nothing. Why do I have nothing here? Notice how my value has no column. So if I have selected data till this point, I have no blue column. Blue column is the one which determines the value, right? From where my numerical values come. Here I have no blue column. I have a single cell and it's obviously not proper, right? So this is not how you can use your Sunburst chart. You need to have some kind of numerical column, even if it's a fake dummy column, to help the Sunburst chart make these slices. Here I have simply added a column having uniform values. So wherever I have two values, the slice will be doubled. For example, for Boston, I have the department IT repeated twice. So notice how in Boston, which is this, marketing and sales are of the same size, but IT is double the size, because marketing and sales are 1 and 1. IT will be 1 plus 1, total of 2. Okay, so wherever you want to, I would say, visualize your data using a Sunburst chart, add a helper numerical column in case you don't already have one. Okay, here the number can be anything. As long as it is uniform, the number can be anything. Why do you have to keep it uniform? Because the Boston office needs to be shown in the same way as the New York office, right? So I can't have 1 year and for New York I have, let's say, 53. Otherwise, if I do something like that, I won't be having the same size of my donuts, right? So for example, if I had this as, let's say, 5, notice how now I have Boston this big. Even though Boston and New York have the same repetitions, 4 for Boston, 4 for New York. New York is this much, Boston is this big. Why? Because here we are having this 5 as the count. So don't do something like that. Make sure it is a uniform column. It can be any values. If I just change all these values from 1 to, let's say, 50, okay, notice how it doesn't have any effect on my Sunburst chart. So you can have it as 150, 5,000, 5 crore, doesn't matter as long as it is equal. It is uniform throughout your entire data. The purpose of this helper column is to just help the Sunburst chart create these donuts and determine the size of these donuts. Apart from that, it has absolutely no purpose. So what you can do is you can simply select it and hide your data. Okay, how to hide your data? Go to custom, 3 semicolons, and you are good to go. 1, 2, 3, hit enter. There we go. Okay, and now you no longer have this in your data. However, it's there in your Sunburst chart. This is how you can create a Sunburst chart as well, and how you can create a tree map. Okay. Chalo. Any other questions? Let me know. Guys, questions related to formulas, pivot tables, data visualization, anything that you didn't understand, want to clear, you face any issues while working with your own data, let me know. Okay. And to answer Rahul's question, Rahul, I don't think we have a lot of people right now, 24 people. Wait for the scatter plot. I will be covering the scatter plot. Bubble chart is nothing but a 3D scatter. You have a third dimension added to it, so you will understand that as well along with the scatter plot. Just wait for it. I want more people to join in. Which chart is good for showing hierarchy in an organization depends on your data. If you are talking about an organization and its people, Sunburst chart is the way to go. Okay. If it's some numerical data, then you can use a tree map. But for people, Sunburst charts. Off the topic, but will you be taking a PPT class anywhere in the future? I am planning on one. I have the Power BI workshop starting as in today only. Today is the first day. After that, one sec. After that, I will be having advanced DAX for Power BI. After that, we'll be having SQL. After that, we'll be having PPT. Okay, please try macro writing if possible. Won't be possible. Macro writing is something, also it's called VBA, first of all, Visual Basic. And secondly, it is going to at least take you 20 hours to even be, I would say, an intermediate level VBA user. And even if you become an intermediate level user, there is absolutely no way that you are going to use it in a day-to-day work because macros have very specific purpose. Okay, so in case you want to automate your work, I would say in Excel, just in Excel, if you try to do it with VBA, 20 hours is also not enough because you need to understand loops, how you can use pivot tables, how you can automate that, how you can refresh it automatically, how you can bring data from different websites, the coding for that, multiple things involved. It's like learning an entire another software alone. All right, so that's something that I'm not going to cover. It doesn't make sense to cover for all the people. Okay, I will join next Power BI class, so not joining current batch. Krish, no problem. Okay, agreed. It takes a lot of things, definitely. Guys, I'm going to end the session in case we don't have any questions. So I'm going to wait for 2 minutes. If I don't see any questions popping in the Zoom chat, I'll just end this session. Okay? Is passing data from NSE websites possible to Excel? Yeah, you have this connector called data. Okay, there are multiple add-ins which help you do that. I don't remember any free add-ins as of now, but you can go to data. You have something called as from web. You can use that. Okay. Can I know when the case study will be active? Uh, Possibly in 2 days. I'll try to do it in 2 days. I have like if you just to give you an example, let me open up. If you are thinking I don't have it, I have it recorded. The editing is also done. I just need to put it on the website, but it's not allowing me to do that. Let me just open it up. One sec. There we go. You see all these things, pivot tables plus 20 minutes. 20 minutes is basically the, I would say, thing that is left to upload. That is 20 minutes. I have entire pivot tables ready here. All these things. वो तो है मेरे पास website is not supporting. I'm not going to share it on Vimeo because it's not safe directly. But I'll try to do it in the next 2 days. Please wait for it. We have an entire year together. Don't worry. Okay. When is the next class of VB starting? What is VB? Visual Basic. I don't have a class on Visual Basic. I don't teach it. It simply because it doesn't make sense to teach it. You all are not even going to use it for most of your time. So it doesn't make sense to spend 40 hours learning and mastering it and then like not using it at all for most of your time. I don't have a class on VBA. However, I'll just try to explain the syntax. Like I would say in the next session or maybe in the next to next session, I'll try to explain you all not the syntax actually, the code of the Excel add-in that you'll have. So if you are I would say the index add-in, how to create an index. If you are wondering how I have created that, I'll I would say I will try to explain the entire code to you all. Okay, not help you all write it, but explain how it works. Okay, I think we don't have any questions right now, guys. I'm going to keep a session later at night as well for other people to join in case they haven't. In case you all have any questions, please join in. In case you do not have any questions, doesn't make sense to join in. Want me to answer something? Please let me know right now. I'm going to end the session in a minute. Okay, if column A is hide, I'm not able to unhide it. What is the problem that you're facing, Pankaj? Okay, thank you guys for attending. Okay, unhide option not available for column A. For column A, you won't be having an option. So, for example, this is the column that I want to hide, F. Okay, I'll press Control 0 to hide it. Select both the neighboring columns E and G. Control Shift 0. My bad. Control Shift 0. One sec. Okay, for some reason, it's not happening. Okay, basically the shortcut for a column is Control Shift 0. Not happening. However, you can simply select both of them. Okay, without the shortcut, also right click and unhide. Okay, if you're having this, right click, unhide, you will have to select your entire data and then do it. Please do it with column A, right click, hide. यहाँ पे doesn't show me only, right? तो right click यहाँ पे करके if you do unhide, you will do it. So you will be getting the answer. So basically, right click, hide, and then hover over this part. You don't have any column for the left hand side. So wait for the cursor to get, I would say, get to this icon, and then right click, unhide. वरना वो नहीं होगा because there is no left column to select it. So you can't do something like this and then right click unhide. Hi Jatan, when is the next session? As I joined just now, next session, as I mentioned in the group, let me just check the timing. Somewhere around 10:20, I think. Okay, but just check on the group. I have sent it there. Hi Jatan, can we bring a table's data in multiple columns and rows into one single column? You can do that by using something called as unpivot. What you can do, but one single column, how will you manage? Like, I don't. So, for example, if you had something like this, give me an example. You can unpivot your data, and I'll give you an example of that as well. But for example, if you have something like this, let's say product and January sales, how do you bring this into a single column? How does it work for you? Tell me what you want to do in that single column. I'll try to help you out accordingly. My data is in multiple columns. You want to example product data. Okay, I think what you are trying to do here is something like this. Have a look. You have product. Okay, so let's say you have product your header, product A, product B, product C. You have sales of 3 months, Jan, Feb, and you have March. Okay, and you have the sales data for it, for example. Okay, now if you want to bring this into one single column, what you need to do is select your data, go to data at the top. Let me just hide my Zoom chat. All right, go to data at the top. Once you go to data at the top, go to from table/range. Okay, इस पे click करो. It will open up a dialog box asking if you want to create a table or not. There we go. Create table. Yes, I want to create a table. Click on OK, and it will open up something called as Power Query. Okay, open up Power Query, and there you have the option of unpivoting a data. Unpivoting basically brings multiple columns into a single column. So here we want to have a single column for my months. Okay, so let's say I want to have one column for my month and one column for my sales. Okay, So what you need to do is select all the month columns from Jan to March. Select Jan, hold Shift and click on March. Okay, the same way as as you would select a column. Have all three selected. Go to transform. Within transform, you have unpivot columns. Okay, there you go. Now you have all months in one single column, all values in one single column. Rename this to month. This to, let's call this value for now. Okay, this is what you have. Simply go to home again, click on this icon to load it up in a separate worksheet. This won't be replacing your existing worksheet. However, it will simply create another worksheet here and load up the data. There you go. Okay, and this is dynamics. If your source data changes, your, I would say, Power Query ka data also changes. The connection also changes. All right, awesome. More like Power BI. Yes, Power BI and Excel both share Power Query. So I think if you have enrolled for the Power BI workshop now as a part of the program, tomorrow you will be having more details about Power Query. Okay, how you can transform your data. Tomorrow is when we cover that. All right, thank you. Welcome. Great, guys. So I'm going to end the call right now. Okay, I'll see you all at 10:20. Again, if I don't see any questions, I'll just end the meeting early. So make sure to have your questions prepared early on. Okay, thank you for attending, guys. Bye.